What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Osmo Pocket 3. So in today's video, I got a special treat for y'all. I'm telling y'all gonna be super excited. So y'all know I like to shoot POV shots. I've used hat clamps, I've used the Insta360, but today I got a special treat. Y'all know I like POV, so when Telesin reached out and said, hey, we got something that will work great with your line of content, I was like, what? My first sponsor, and two, it aligns with the channel. This is the Telesin 2-in-1 neck mount, right? So y'all know I like POV shots, but I don't like the discomfort. I'm gonna do a first impressions and kind of give my thoughts, and I got a special treat for y'all at the end of the video. All right, I couldn't wait. I'm not gonna lie, I unboxed the product, but I'm gonna show you what comes in the box. First things first, you get the neck mount itself, and more on that later. We get the MagSafe ring. So let's say, for instance, you have a phone that doesn't support MagSafe, or you have a case that you want to give that extra adhesion to the magnets on your phone. You got that. You get instructions. You know, we just go with the flow. They give you a cleaning cloth and stuff to kind of get that phone connected, and adhere properly. And then one thing that I did like is that they do give you these Velcro straps that if you're doing things a little bit more action oriented or more intense, it keeps that mount around your neck to kind of sit up in a good position, which I really did like. What else we got? They also sent us to work with your action cameras. They sent me the action camera filter for the 5, the 4, and the Action 3, which is super dope. I think that's clean. I love that. I've been using that with the Action 5, well, Action 4 rather. I also have the Action 5, but right now we're using the Action 4, which is cool because these ND filters, they're basically like sunglasses for your camera. Let's say, for instance, you set those manual settings and you want to get that more cinematic, if you will. Don't come at me in the comments, but if you want to get that little cinematic look to your footage, you simply just put that on there and it's easy, which is really cool. They come in a pack. Hold on, let me get this open. They come in a pack of 4. You get the CPL, you get the ND16, ND32, and ND8. I spend most of my time using ND8 based on my day-to-day activities when it comes to the sun. Y'all know I like to do POV. Y'all know I like to do in-truck videos. And Telesin has hooked y'all up with a special coupon code, which you can get 15% on their website. I'll link it down below. But if you use code STORM at checkout, you'll get 15% saved on your order. Thank you, Telesin, so much for doing that and providing that to all the people that are subscribed to the channel. Do me a favor, speaking of subscribe, drop a like on the video. Stay subscribed, and we'll be dropping some more content. We got a lot of things coming down the pipe when it comes to content. But yeah, thank you so much for Telesin for sponsoring and giving that coupon code for y'all. But yeah, let me give you my thoughts around this. So the first things first, this is the neck mount, which has a quick release right here. So let's say you're putting this on, you get a nice little tactile click. So that way that's locked in. I got the mic here, so forgive me if you get a little distortion because I'm putting this right over it. But you'll take your phone, take your iPhone, which I'm gonna be honest, I've been talking about using the iPhone to film content because, the best camera that you have, I've heard this from tons of photographers and videographers and cinematographers, is the one that you have with you. And it's true because when you have a busy lifestyle and you don't have time to get somebody to hold the camera, something like this really does help out. So I don't rock a case. I'm team no case. I live on the wild side, but it makes it easier in this case to connect. You get a nice little connection with the MagSafe, and then you could adjust this to an angle. I know this looks crazy, but when you're doing things like POV shots, and I'll definitely give you some footage in this video so you can see how it does look. But when you're doing things on your own, you gotta have that versatility. And what's cool about this, it comes with a thumb screw. You unscrew this. This is for your MagSafe. Take this out, put this to the side. With the Action 3, 4, and 5, they come with these little quick releases, which kind of disconnect, reconnect. This fits right here. You're gonna take this right here, this little thumb screw. You're gonna attach it. if I could align it correctly. You just screw that in, and then boom. Now you're using your action camera. That's why I like the 2-in-1. You're using your action camera or your iPhone, depending on what works best for you. Sometimes, some days I'm at work, I'll throw this in a backpack. I'll get some POV shots or things like that. It makes it easier. And what I like is that it's not discomforting. When I was wearing these hat like clamps, a lot of the weight is put in the front part of your head, and there's nothing to kind of counterweight it. With these included straps, what I noticed when I'm using them, it goes around my chest. Let's say I'm riding a bike or something like that. I don't have to worry about all that weight and also all that jostling. Even though the cameras have some, good stabilization, I just prefer that so that way it's secure and it's not all over the place. All right, so one other attachment, if you don't have a quick release mount, like the Action 4, 5, and 3, they include a quarter 20 that you could attach. I won't need that because of the quick release system, but if I wanted to use my Osmo Pocket 3 to kind of attach it, same thing applies. I'll attach it here, put the thumb screw, and then I could use in a bevy of cameras if I needed to. All right, now bear with me. I know this looks weird. However, what I like about this neck mount, it allows you to easily set up your phone. You could hold your camera. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to get a 2 POV. You could literally free your hands up and have 2 POVs without having to have somebody, hold the camera or set up a tripod. And then it makes it easier for you to just quickly remove it. There's a quick release here. I got MagSafe. I'm using my front-facing camera, and I'm also holding my action camera or my Osmo Pocket 3 for this example. I don't have to worry about putting something up here. I don't have to have something like really heavy on my head. And it also allows you to use both of your better cameras. And listen, I'm not gonna pay for 2 cameramen. I could be the one-man show or the one-woman show and use something like this. And let's say, for instance, you don't have a secondary camera. This is the camera that you have down here. You don't have to focus on trying to spend money on an expensive camera. You can use this high-quality neck mount, and it could just literally fit in your bag. It's not something that's like a weird shape, and it's flexible. So let's say, for instance, MagSafe is being used on all the phones nowadays. So you don't have to worry about it being outdated later on. Or let's say it grows with you. You get an action camera or an Osmo. You could literally use this for all your cameras. And it also, I wouldn't put a DSLR camera on there. But if you did, if you wanted to be brave enough, or something that supports a quarter 20, you could attach it here and you don't have to worry about having to buy another part. It literally is a full package, so that way you could shoot POV. Forgive me, that's my truck. We're going at this just completely out of the box with no onboard mic. Let me know down below, comment, let me know what y'all think. But I feel like this gives you the freedom to create content and not have to be stuck to a tripod or stuck to setting up a phone in a weird angle. You get that POV every single time, which I think is cool. I just think this makes life so much easier. So let's say, for instance, you want to start shooting down here and you're trying to get, let's say the POV of this nice grass. You don't have to sit here and be like, you know what, I'm gonna have to change cameras, I'm gonna have to change angles and stuff like that. You could just use your phone. I think that's the biggest thing. As of late, I've been saying to myself, I gotta start using my phone. I spend all this hard-earned money on a great phone that shoots good footage. Let me get the most out of it. Most of those pro cameras shoot in 4K 30, 4K 60, so why not take advantage of that, right? We all get those pro cameras, those ultra phones, etc. Let's take advantage of it. But then when you're ready, just like this, I'm gonna jump back into the truck. And then here we are. We got this POV here. If I wanted to multitask, I could use my action camera, so that way you guys can see multiple POVs, and then also to keep your viewers engaged. I think having multiple shots when you can, because I know sometimes our schedules are all busy. We may not have time for it. This is why I feel like this takes a good advantage of multitasking and using your resource, your best resource, which is your phone in your pocket. All right. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all, having something like this very easily in your bag when you want to create POV shots is good to have, especially if you're doing things like cooking, maybe action sports, bike riding. I probably wouldn't use this on a motorcycle just because of the speed, and I'm afraid of my phone But listen, if you want to travel on the wild side, I think, you know, go for it. What I do like as well is that this has a nice swivel that gives you this tactile click, which, I'll be honest, I've been messing with it. It's really satisfying. So when you do turn it in different directions, the only challenge that I would say if you're using an iPhone with this, if you want to have it face your face, I would recommend getting a Apple Watch if you do have it, just so that way you can see yourself when you're creating the content, so that way you get yourself right in shot. But otherwise than that, I really like this. I mean, it makes life easier. You could put it over your clothes and stuff like that. It has this like rubberized texture around it, so that way you're not putting something that's kind of scratching along your jacket or your neck and things like that. But it's the build quality, I'll be honest, it's flexible. This can bend and stuff like that, so you can fit it in a bag. The hinge is really satisfying. The quick release, I did hit the button right there to kind of get it to come off, but I'll show you. It comes off with this little button up here that you can press. It removes itself, and I just like that click. It just gives me this like satisfying feel that it is connected. Right here, as I mentioned, you do have the option to connect a Velcro loop around your chest to kind of secure it if you're doing things that require more movement. But yeah, I think this for me is something that's going to stay with me, because I like to give you guys different perspectives. So when I do have more time when I'm creating content, I feel like I could just use it as a secondary cameraman. Like, this is literally just going to stay in the bag. Now for the ND filters, for me personally, I live near a lot of tall buildings. So when I do go to the park, I may use the 16 or 32, but I'm staying right at ND 8. I feel like that's my sweet spot. Let me know down below how you feel. But otherwise than that, this is a real exciting moment for y'all. I'm really humbled and thankful to have Telesin sponsor this video and send over the 2-in-1 neck mount, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be using every single day. Like I said, use code STORM at checkout for any of Telesin's products on their website. I'm gonna link them down below. Maybe grab yourself an ND filter, a set of ND filters, or the neck mount, or both. I feel like these are both useful for someone who is a vlogger, content creator, or just has no one else to film, or doesn't really like to carry a tripod. One thing I would think of, there's so many use cases. You could use it for cooking, you could use it at the gym, you could use it for driving, you could use it for so many different things. You could honestly, I mean, anything you could think of, you could use it, because that way you can you can give people an inside perspective on how you create content or your day in the life. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. You are a real one. I'm really excited for what's coming this year. We got a lot of content coming down the pipe here. It feels good to be back. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Peace.